Hello, this is just a chill video. I have notes, don't you worry, because uni students always has notes. I'm learning on how to make content on engineering and like relating my course to, you know, everyday topics. So I thought I'd do that today with something I came across and explain why I think the population is ruining the world for content and for profit. I can't fully say that I don't do these things, unfortunately, but I'm trying to work my way into not doing it, mainly because I'm a uni student and I just was born in a lower class. I honestly can't afford to do it any better, unfortunately, but hopefully in the future with a career I will be able to do these things. So let me start right now. So the first thing I came across was a Facebook video of some guy pouring lots of paint on a table, and he was raking it to make a cool design, which is cool and all. You know, each person's allowed to do their own thing with their own property, but I just think it's a bit odd because firstly, he didn't put any primer or anything, so that means it's wasted. Everything that was put on it was basically waste. So he wasn't just wasteful for putting that on the table without using any primer or anything. He was wasteful because he also poured quite a lot of paint everywhere, unnecessary needed paint. So for this, I just thought I would go a bit into detail on like how paint is made and why it's not only wasteful in terms of like the actual product of paint, but everything that is used towards it. I searched how paint is made and they have automatic machines, which should not be surprising because most things are made in bulk. So they firstly have a solvent dispenser, which is quite a big machine. I'll have it in a picture here, and it is responsible for, like as the name says, dispensing the materials needed for the paint into the paint can in order to mix it and make the product. I hope I'm being correct, but if I remember from like, you know, typical science from my GCSE days, I'm sure that paint is made from oil and water and has something called an emulsifier that mixes them both together. I believe the oil is the thing that stays when you paint, and then water is the thing that evaporates to let it not be wet anymore. Obviously you can get different types of paint like acrylic, oil based, but this is just from my memory, vague. So obviously a machine like that, assuming there's only one, it looks quite big. So having multiple of those in like a homeware store or like in a factory is most likely. So that means a whole lot of electricity is being used in making those things. Probably a lot of air as well, pneumatics, as I'm sure hydraulics probably use quite a bit of pneumatics. The second process I came across was called canning. So that's when the machine closes the can of paint, seals it basically, and that again probably consists of hydraulics and lots of electricity. Thinking about that, not even considering all the material used in it for packaging, for labeling, even the steel or aluminium used for the actual like can of paint itself, that has its own process as well. A lot of water, heat, electricity, those type of products or energy are the things kind of damaging the world and the atmosphere. So that's why things like this really annoy me, because not only are you wasting the paint, you're wasting all the electricity and things used. It's bad enough it being used for the right purpose, but I think the next topic gets me even more, which is fast production, or Shein. Shein is like a Chinese brand. It is fast fashion. It's quite cheap, so you could buy most things on there, well maybe tops for like £3, dresses for like £7, £8, which is for people my age and just anyone in a sticky situation, like financially, that's great. But if you think about what's under the surface and all the things that come with it, even in normal clothing production, but mass clothing production, and it being so cheap, which means they have less care on what they do, that's a bit concerning. So let me walk through that with you. So if you go through TikTok, you can see I have a few on the screen here of like multiple people doing hauls, which are like big shops of this clothing brand, and there are in huge amounts. Lots of the things I'm talking about are years, and that's just per person, not talking about globally all the people using it. As it's a website, that's assuming that everyone globally is using it. So let's get into that. So we have things such as big yarn machines. I'm not sure what to think of Shein, because I can't assume that the fabric's already made, because if it's already made, then it's not as bad as it seems, supposedly, only on a minuscule scale. But if they are making the material from scratch, then they have tons of machines that are doing the threading, sewing, patching for all of these things. I'll have a list of them here on the screen of everything used, and also they are all quite big. It is very bulky, firstly, so space is wasted. Second of all, a lot of electricity is needed for them because they're machines, and this is even talking about the most important part, which is water. To be totally honest, I did not know that clothes consisted of using the amount of water it does, or water at all. But with research, I found that it's way more than I expected. So with research, I'll have references down below. 20,000 litres of water are used in making clothes, and not just clothes in general. I mean, one t-shirt and one pair of bottoms. 2 pairs of item each contain 20,000 litres worth of water. So very wasteful indeed. To put that into perspective, these tanks of water have the opening of around the height of a desk, and I'll put some pictures, and that's just for, let me remind you, 2 pairs or 2 items of clothing. So as they're mass producing, that means there's a whole lot more. So they're using tons and tons and tons of water, which is very wasteful. So hopefully we can find a way to solve that. But again, this is without thinking of things like transport, packaging, all the plastic used, the cardboard, the heat, the electricity. That's like disbanding all of that, which is again the cut-off criteria at the point of which you disregard things because there's so many things involved that you can only focus on a few things. So my main focus or my scope was water and electricity. So yeah, that's the whole video. I just wanted to share some awareness. I was walking to the coach station and I thought of this when I woke up, and I thought I was just gonna talk about it straight away because I'll probably forget otherwise. I'd rather do a video like this, educating whilst it's on my mind with all the facts that I have written down, rather than forget about it and wait, because I think it's an important issue. I'm sorry for the type of way this was talked about. I wanted it to kind of be casual, informative, and also I had to catch a coach. So those were the 3 fundamental and important things I wanted to cover. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.